Officials in Conway are helping residents ahead of Dorian. Now they've stocked up for people who plan to stay. Is battering the coast of Florida this morning as a Category 2 storm. This is a live look at Daytona Beach, where the winds and rain have intensified throughout the night.
Unfortunately for people in Daytona Beach and those surrounding areas, they still have hours left of this storm before it finally makes its way out of this area. But unlike yesterday morning, the storm is no longer stationary and is now moving at about 8 miles per hour.
It's 5:30 now, so yeah, just 30 minutes ago we got those updates that we get at 5 and 11 on the track of the storm. And while that's what everybody's waiting for, because we want to know how much we're going to get impacted, it's still, kind of up in the air, right, Zach?
Yeah, still kind of up in the air, although the westward movement is not the greatest. As long as there's a little bit of westward movement, even a north-northwest movement where it's primarily north, but still that western movement, that always makes it a little eerily close for the Florida coastline. In turn, will make it eerily close for the South Carolina coastline. In fact, the Hurricane Center has kind of increased our threats and impacts due to this westward movement. Here's the very latest information. Maximum winds now of 105 miles per hour. Look at that convective burst in just the past hour and a half around the northern and the western eye wall. This is typical of hurricanes that parallel the coastline of the eastern seaboard because we have cooler air over land, and that can actually enhance the rainfall and thunderstorm development. And that is why flooding, water from the rainfall, is going to be a threat as the storm works its way northward. Now, like I said, we do have the hurricane hunters out there. We've been consistently finding Category 2 hurricane force winds. It is now penetrating one of those brand new thunderstorm bursts. We have lost contact with the plane. It will come back. Don't worry. This always happens when they fly through the eye wall. So it'll be interesting to see if that convective burst is also producing some stronger winds. Here's the thing. Even though this storm has weakened, though, according to hurricane hunters, the wind field has expanded. Hurricane force winds now 60 miles from the center. Tropical storm force winds nearly 200 miles from the center. And as we go up the coast, there's that red circle of hurricane force winds. Notice how it moves on shore just north of Charleston, Georgetown, Pawleys Island, Murrells Inlet, Myrtle Beach in sustained hurricane force winds as this storm works its way out to the north. So again, power outages most likely there along the coastline, more possible inland. We'll talk about the other threats that come with this storm coming up in about 15 minutes. Crystal.
All right, Zach, of course, we'll check in with you then, and we'll be on top of Hurricane Dorian coverage every step of the way, but we can't have our photographers everywhere, so that's where you come in. If you can safely get us pictures or video of what you're seeing during the storm, send them to WPDE.com. Just look for the Chime In tab and put them in the Hurricane Dorian folder.
Several local counties and cities in our area are now under states of emergency ahead of the storm. The governor of South Carolina had already declared a state of emergency for the state. Last night, the city of Conway and Scotland County followed suit. This allows local governments to prepare for disaster support if needed.
Conway city leaders are getting ready for any effects that we may feel from Hurricane Dorian. Yesterday, they mainly focused on making sure their shelters are stocked and prepared, especially for tomorrow. Officials also got sandbag supplies for people who want to add that extra layer of protection to their homes. People in the PD are not taking chances either, and they're getting ready ahead of Hurricane Dorian.
Officials have been out doing preparations for several days ahead of the storm. ABC 15's Liz Cooper in the Breaking News Center with more on how they're preparing.
Yeah, some people in the PD say they've spent hundreds of dollars over the past 3 years to prepare for hurricane after hurricane. And right now they say they're just exhausted and suffering from storm fatigue. They say they don't have any other choice but to prepare. Some say it's all they've done since the historic flood that happened in 2015. Many people in Latta say if they can weather hurricanes Matthew and Florence, they'll come together and get through Dorian.
We are as prepared as we can be. Our little community looks after each other, and we are going to survive.
Now, they and like many others are hoping they'll be spared from any major impacts of Hurricane Dorian, and officials in the city of Florence say Crews have been working for more than a week preparing by cleaning storm drains, outfalls, and just making sure the necessary equipment is ready and working. Connor and Crystal.
Liz Cooper live for us there in the Breaking News Center. Now to the Grand Strand. For so many people, Dorian is certainly not their first hurricane.
That's right, but that is not the case for everyone. ABC 15's Mandy Kinson is live this morning in Myrtle Beach with concerns from those who are experiencing a hurricane for the first time.
Yeah, think about that. I mean, it can be quite scary. I think many of us who have been here for a while, well, we can think back to that first time that we really had to prepare for a hurricane, and you really don't know what to expect. Well, here in Myrtle Beach yesterday, people were lining up to get sandbags. We talked to a couple who just moved here recently from New York, and they said they never thought they'd see the day when they would be filling up bags with sand. They said they spent their life's earnings on their new home here, and because their home is just steps away from Withers Swash, they're worried about losing musical equipment they spend their life working to earn.
We're 50 feet from the zone, evacuating zone. 50 feet in a storm, what's that? Come on, you know what I mean? So truthfully, I'm not sure what to do.
4 shipments of sand came in yesterday. Well, that's all depleted now, and the City of Myrtle Beach official tells us no more sand will be shipped in for the rest of the week. You can see here, we showed you yesterday that some of the businesses here on the Myrtle Beach Boardwalk, they have some sandbags out, but so far, at least in this stretch right here, I don't see any additional businesses that have put out sandbags or put up anything over the windows. However, that could change according, to the forecast. They still have some maybe time today to get that done. So we'll check back and see how that goes. But if you are uncertain, well, just get ready for it, guys.
All right, thank you, Amanda. And officials in Lumberton are working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to build a dam ahead of Hurricane Dorian. Councilman John Canty says the 12-foot tall dam would help stop any potential flooding in southwest Lumberton. Hundreds lost their homes to flooding in Lumberton during Hurricane Matthew in 2016 and Hurricane Florence last year. The largest campground on the East Coast is on lockdown. We'll tell you how vacationers feel about their plans being in Dorian's path.